Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports. And today we have a real special. I always be talking about we got a special guest, but we got Olympian on today, Mr. Norman Tate, triple jumper, long jumper, hurdler, and I've known him. I'm saying probably 40 years. When he was telling me what his age was, I said I was telling some people I was having him on the show, and they were saying, "Man, you that." I was like, "No, them guys, Norman and Carlos, they was at the Olympics, but they was out of New York and Jersey area, and they were our role models. No, I'm not that. I was in high school. I was they was on top of their game. I was just learning my game. I was running 60 seconds in the quarter."
Oh, that's funny, man.
It is. I'm saying, no, you was there. And
Mm-hmm.
as I said in John's interview, the New York Pioneer Club played a very important part in turning a lot of athletes like myself from scrubs to halfway stars.
George, that's
And
right.
that was under looking at individuals like yourself, Carlos, and other people. So
Mhm.
without further ado, let's me introduce you. Uh, Norman Tate, 1968 Olympics. And would you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, where you came
Okay.
and how you rose in track and field?
Okay. Well, I was born in West Virginia, 1942. Migrated to New Jersey as a 3-year old, and I went to, elementary, high school in New Jersey, in East Orange, in fact. Um, I didn't. I got into track and field late, and I got into track and field really because of football. I wanted to play football, and I was a little guy at that time. Weighed about 140 pounds, and my mom wouldn't sign the permission slip, so I went out for track. And as the years went by, I got taller, put on some weight, and I ended up playing football my last year in high school. And but track was my main sport. Uh, One thing I want to say is that I was a late bloomer. I didn't win any championships in high school. I had some pretty good long jumps and 100-yard, times. Ran 700 yards and jumped, almost 24 feet in high school. But I got hurt my senior year, didn't make it to the state meets. So I tell kids, you don't have to be a state champion to reach the top. You just have to, keep persevering, and if that's your goal, you just do the things that you set out to do, the things that help reach that goal. And that's where I came in. I ended up uh, I like I said, I got injured my senior year, and I tore a quad muscle, and so I basically was out a whole year before I went to college. Went to college the year after I got out of high school, and I ended up going to North Carolina Central, uh, who was at that time coached by the great Leroy Walker, and and he recruited me over the telephone based on somebody, a coach from New Jersey, black coach from New Jersey, that we had competed against in high school. Called Doc and said, "Listen, I got this kid up here. He's looking to go to school, and he's going to be a good one. So I'm love for him to come down there." Doc recruited me over the telephone. Went to North Carolina Central basically, and the rest became history. Man, I blossomed as a sophomore, won the NC2A championships as a sophomore, pin relays, triple jump, uh, NAIA triple jump and long jump, and after that, after I won those, pin relays actually was my first championship.
And that's what we're going to be talking about
Yeah,
today,
but
pin relays.
yeah,
But also, what I want you to weave into the story as we're talking, some things going through my mind. Tell our audience what track and field was like back in the 60s for a black athlete, and when they had this amateur rule as it relates to earning dollars and cents and you trying to family, all of that. Run that
Right.
down. One other,
Okay.
one last thing. Also, I want you to include in that because at that time you had really no black long distance runners running the 400, I mean 800 meters. You had a BB Bakila on the marathon, I believe.
Done. Right.
Beside that, uh, all of the Africans that are winning the events over the last 25 years, they weren't there when you were running.
When I was competing, right.
Run it down.
Okay. The first thing, as a black athlete, growing up, and especially in the sport of track and field, it was a way out of where you were. I tell people I didn't live in the projects, but I lived across the street from the project. So I was in the hood. I grew up in the hood, and athletics as a whole was our way out. If you excelled, that was going to be a road to college, because then, the Korean War was going on. They were getting ready to start the war in Vietnam. So if you didn't go to college, you was going in the army. So athletics was a way out. The track, became my way out. Ended up, going to North Carolina, and I blossomed. But it was a truly pure amateur sport. It was no money. Some of the shoe companies, if you reached the tops in your event, there was some shoe companies that gave you some few dollars under the table.
And John said he had to work in the daggone.
John, let me tell you how I met John. 1964, I win the outstanding athlete at Penn Relays, and this guy came down on the field. His name was Lee Stock, and introduced himself. He said, "I'm the East Coast representative for Puma," and Puma was just starting out as a shoe company at that time, and he gave me some shoes there. Gave me a couple of pair of shoes. Took my address at school. The next week, he sent me a lot of shoes, running gear, sweats and warm ups. So he said, when you come home during the summer, come over to New York, New York City, in Lower Manhattan. That's where they had their warehouse. And so I went over there one day after I got home, and Lee said, "I have this young kid, I want to introduce to you. He's working in the stock room here." And it was John Carlos. John was working in the stock warehouse at Puma when he was in high school. And that's the first time I met John. And
cutting you off a little bit, tell the audience there really was only two shoe companies back then.
That's right.
And they were brothers.
That's right. Adidas and Puma. And Puma started from Adidas. They were two brothers. They didn't get along. The father left the company to him, and they split up. And one of the brothers started Puma, and that's how Puma, got on the map as far as track and field. They were sending representatives out to various track meets, and they was picking guys, that had done well in certain events, and they was giving them free stuff. I mean, that was my first thing. I said, "Wow, man, I got all this stuff for free." And back then, we weren't looking at the money angle. We were looking at, we wanted to be the best that we could be in our events. So we worked hard, trained hard. So when we got something like, free shoes and stuff, that was a big deal. And stuff, now these kids, if they don't get $10,000 and up, they're not running and stuff, So I had after I got out of college, I was working, as a substitute teacher. And by me being able to pick some of the days that I was working, I was able to continue to train. Because you had to work to make a living. After you got out of college, you had to work. 9 to 5 or whatever, you had to work, because track was producing nothing but a free trip uh, to a track meet, or if you made a national team. I remember the first national team I made. We went to Greece, Turkey, and Iran, and the per diem was $2 a day. I'm running for the United States, and I was getting $2 a day. And some people lost their job. In order to make a trip, some people lost their job, gave up their jobs. So it was a whole different story. But the one thing I'll say is that I've been involved with guys on the circuit, and there was more camaraderie back then in love of the sport than it is now.
That's how
uh,
I met you and John per se. In
yeah,
his interview, that's what he talked about.
yeah,
That
yeah,
reaching back, we scrubs, y'all on the
yeah.
top level.
Yeah,
Had
that's right.
time to like, no, son, this is how you do it.
Do it. That's right. And that's the way. That was our mindset. Uh, any young kid that came around us, we were there to help them get to where we were. It wasn't about getting paid. These kids got personal trainers and personal coaches and everything. You guys, coaches, were your high school coaches and the guys in the Pioneer Club when y'all came down there to
Mr.
practice.
Yancey, Mr.
Mr. Yancey,
Dickinson,
Mr. Levy,
and Mr.
Ed,
Ford. Because
yeah, Ed Levy. That's right.
when we were running in the garden, and they didn't that 160 wooden track back then.
Track. Mm-hmm.
Uh, only one. I think it was Manhattan College or there was only one place that you could practice on a track like that.
That's right.
And
they had one up at NYU that was
yeah,
outside.
that's
And
where it
yeah,
was.
they had it up. It was outside. So in the
Outside, right.
wintertime, you'd be freezing at practice if you practice on that board track up there at NYU. but
Hey,
but
no, but see, the kids now, they don't understand. We at Taft High School, we got to take the train all the way up to Van Cortlandt Park to
Cortlandt Park,
practice
that's
every
right.
day.
Yeah. Come to the Armory.
Outside.
Hey, come to the Armory at night. We
Yeah.
practice in it from 7 to 10 o'clock at night in the Armory on the wooden floor. But that's what made us, I think. I'll even say better prepared than a lot of the kids are today. They're soft compared to what we had to endure. Vinnie Matthew, I remember Vinnie telling me he had to hop over fences in Brooklyn at the school where he was practicing at the train in the evenings, and so it was different. But we developed lifelong friends through it.
Hey, Norm, it's funny you brought Vinnie Matthews up because the last time I seen him was 40 years ago, and he was running the anchor leg for Villanova at the Penn Relays.
Mm-hmm.
Rice out of Texas, they had a monster. Vinny, that boy ran a 45 something or 46 something back then. Those were really fast times.
Yeah, because they were running on cinders, on dirt.
And Vinny got that baton, Villanova, and he reeled that boy in like I think he ran 43 or something.
Yeah.
On that leg. And then he just disappeared out of the track and field.
Vinny does not. I talk to Vinny, every so often. I'll give him a call, and he's an artist now. He's painting and stuff, man. But he doesn't, because of the treatment Vinny got after 1972 Olympics, when they didn't do anything really. They was chatting with each other on the podium, and IOC banned him from the Olympics after that. And Vinny just after that said later, Vinny doesn't want to have anything to do with track and field. He doesn't talk about it. A couple of years ago, Johnson C. Smith was going to put him in the Hall of Fame. Vinny wouldn't even go to the award ceremony, man. The only thing that Vinny has done in the last few years that was track related, Herb Douglas, who used to put on the Jesse Owens award dinner. Yeah, he just passed last year. Well, he had the Jesse Owens awards dinner every year at in New York. And last time I saw Vinny involved in a track event, Vinny came, Carlos came, Bob came, Beeman, and myself. And that's the last track related affair that Vinny's been to ever since the 1970
Two
uh,
Olympics.
two Olympics. Yep, he just doesn't want to have anything to do with the sport.
Let's switch it
Uh,
up. So you've been going to Penn Relays basically every year, and
mm-hmm,
it dawned on me this weekend, Penn Relays, you better be calling Coach Tate.
mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the relays this year.
Okay,
Give our audience a little bit of what you think was important and what you want them to know about the 2020.
okay. All right. Well, this was the 128th running of the Penn Relays. It's the oldest track and field relay meet in the country. Supersedes Texas relays, Florida relays, Drake relays, Mount Sac, uh, uh,
Kansas.
and it can't. Yeah, any none of them are as old and as prestigious as Penn Relays, and they call it Penn Relay Carnival, and that's just what it is. It's a carnival. Uh, um, it's a big party for the spectators, but on the track they always have some tremendous and outstanding performances on the track. I was fortunate that I anchored 3 Championship of America Penn relay teams. Uh, I won 5 individual titles. I've won a total of 14 Penn relay watches in my career.
Man.
And I'm third. I'm tied for third on the all time list. And and surprisingly enough, the top watch winner at Penn is a girl that you know who she is. Lorna Ford from Adams Track Club has 21 Penn relay watches. Check this. All of them in the relays, nothing individual. She ran
Norman.
on she ran on 21 winning relay teams at Penn Relays. She's the top watch winner in Penn Relays history. I'm tied for third at
Norman.
14.
You know what? All these years, I have never thought about Adams Track.
Track
I'm
Club, yeah.
saying for 40, that's the first time I've heard that team's name.
Name.
Now that brings me back to, boy, they had some athletes on the Adam women athletes. Talk to our audience a little bit about what you know about Adams Track Club.
Okay. Adams Track Club, there was 2 women's track clubs in New York. PAL, run by Connie Ford, and Adams Track Club was started by Fred Thompson, who was a lawyer, and Fred wanted to see these girls, grow up, go to college, and become somebody because they were all from Brooklyn.
Right.
Bed-Stuy. They used to practice in a park in Bed-Stuy. These girls, I have to say, they was one of the runningest, best track teams in the country.
Right.
Cheryl Toussaint, Lorna Ford, all of them, man. And these were kids that came up in the projects in Brooklyn that had the opportunity to be tutored by somebody like a Fred Thompson, who basically gave up his law career and dedicated it to coaching a track team. And then he started the Colgate games. He got Colgate, the sponsor.
That's who started the Colgate games?
Colgate. Fred Thompson was the one that started Colgate game. And guess who's in charge of Colgate games now? Because Freddie died a few years ago. Cheryl Toussaint is in charge of the Colgate games now. And she was one of Freddie's runners. But these girls, because back then, there was no college competition for women when we were running. And that's why
I forgot
Yeah,
about
yeah,
them. I went over to
yeah.
that track one time, and I
Time.
think Boys High was practicing.
High, yeah, boys high was used to practice. They'd be practicing in the park in Brooklyn, man.
And
Uh, but
these kids got these facilities. They don't know what a cinder track.
track
And
is
I still got cinder burns from
Burns. That's
the
right.
handoff and falling.
Falling. That's right. Hey, and falling on the 168th Armory, getting splinters and wood burn. They don't know anything about that and stuff, you know. But they persevered, and so this year, and in fact, Cheryl was the honorary meet referee this year.
Right.
That show you how far she's come. Cheryl was the honorary meet referee for the women's events this year at Penn. But
what was the most exciting events at Penn Relays?
what I did was I compiled a list of, because as you know, for the past few years, well, actually about the past 20 years, the Jamaican teams, high school teams have dominated Penn Relays to the point that they have won so many times that some of the coaches here in the United States have complained to the people that run Penn Relays that their kids don't have the opportunity to win the watches anymore. So what they did was the first American team that finishes, if they don't win, the first American team that finishes in the Championship of America races, they get a watch.
What? Hey, as far as I'm concerned, you need to train harder.
That's right. but that's the way they do it now. The first American team that competes, like say the 4x1 Championship of America, Jamaica might take first and second. If it's a USA team that finished third or fourth, whoever's the first American team in that Championship of America race, that team they receive watches also.
So what happened? What happened? These are the races I'm concerned with now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go high school.
Okay, we'll go.
Yeah, run
okay,
down.
I'll start. Friday was the first running of the championship races. Friday and Saturday, all the championship races on Friday and Saturday. On Friday, high school girls 4x100. Jamaica took first, second, and third. The high school girls. And they ran some scintillating times. 44:71 was the winning time, 44:76 was second, and 45:14 was third. Now, to show you how fast that really is for high school, you compare that to the college women's 4x100, and the college women ran South Florida wait a minute. The 4x1. Oh, the 4x100 college women, Ohio State won in 42:72. TCU was 44:05. They ran slower than the team than the high school girls from Jamaica and Howard took third in Championship of America. Okay. They ran 44:30. But that show you how good those Jamaican high school kids are. That the only time that was faster than theirs in 4x1 was the winning time from Ohio State. And that was the 4x1. They took 1, 2, 3.
What about the mile relay?
In the 4x4, which was on Saturday, was on Friday also. The girls 4x4, Jamaica took first. They ran 3:34.
I seen that race.
Yeah,
I think
right. Now there's a girl from that. Yeah, there's a team from Maryland called Bullis School. They almost won. They lost it on the home stretch. They ran 3:35:17. They almost crossed the finish line together.
Didn't that girl from Jamaica catch her?
No, the girl from Bullis caught the girl from Jamaica.
Oh, right.
But she ran up on her shoulder, and the girl from Jamaica run wide, she moved her out a little bit, gave her a little arm,
That's what she's
shove.
supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. it was legal. They didn't call it a foul or nothing. But this team from Bull in Union Catholic, where Sydney went to school, McLaughlin, they took third. So we took second and third in the Championship of America. Went high school 4x4, but those two times,
Did they have a
the,
distant male medley in high school?
yeah, I'm gonna run it down. But this school from Bullis is gonna be reckoned with in the future. They are. You heard of IMG Academy?
Yeah, yeah.
Bullis is the Bullis school is like an IMG Academy, and it's in Maryland, and they recruit predominantly black kids, and the athletes. And what it is, they do the same thing as IMG. If they see a stud out there and they want them to come to IMG, they paying for his tuition and all of that. They're doing the same thing at the Bullis School, and you can see the results because between their girls team and boys team, they're gonna be reckoned with in the future. I'll
So they're
get to
gonna
the
be
men
bringing
later.
something back home to
Yeah,
to the home team.
yeah, because they're recruiting kids from around the country and bringing them to this school in Maryland, and they're putting something together. But they had the DMR. Let me go down the list on Friday. High school girls 4x4 was first three places was Jamaica. The college women's DMR was Harvard was first, Providence was second, Virginia was third. In the college men's DMR, our old school Villanova, look like they win it every year. Villanova was first, Georgetown was second. It's usually between them and Villanova for first and second. Villanova won this year. Georgetown was second. University of Virginia was third. Then they had the college women's 4x2. South Florida won. They beat Duke and Penn State. In the men's 4x2, South Florida won that. They
They got
beat
some
Houston.
sprinters out
They
there.
did. Well, they beat Houston, who had won 5 in a row. Carl came up there this year and they got beat, because Carl is coaching Houston.
Right.
So they beat it was South Florida, Houston, and now GC Foster, which is a Jamaican college. So now the Jamaican colleges are coming. Then they ended up third in this race and stuff. So not only do we have to look out for the high schools from Jamaica now we have to start looking out for the colleges down there. And what it's doing, fewer and fewer Jamaican athletes are leaving the island now because now they're starting to go to the colleges that they've started in Jamaica.
They're trying to keep their natural resources
The
right
resources
at
home, right at home. That's right.
And
then
that reminded me of Byron Allen at NYU when
they
first start blacks start running them distances. He was one of the really good half milers.
Good athlete. Mm-hmm.
And possibly in another time would have been out there in Oregon or
yeah. Oh yeah. If it had been now, Byron and him would have ended up in a school like Oregon. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But then, go ahead.
Yeah, but then now we got the boys, high school boys DMR, Christian Brothers Academy from New Jersey won. And the high school girls DMR, Saratoga Springs High School won. So they beat the Jamaican teams in both of those. Then you had the high school girls 4x8. Union Catholic beat Edward Allen from Jamaica. Crowd went crazy and stuff. They won they won by 4 seconds over the Jamaican team.
When they beat them teams from Jamaica and what have you, think about the plane fare it take to bring them here.
Bring them there.
Yeah.
And there must have been at least 20 Jamaican high schools there this year. And then they even had about 8 or 9 from Trinidad.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. They had about 8 or 9 high schools from Trinidad that came this year and stuff. So they even, where they fly the flags around top of the stadium?
Uh-huh.
well, 5 years ago they put a Jamaican flag up there, so it's
Yeah,
like
well,
they run.
Jamaican say
They
we
want.
own this.
That's right. They one of the regulars now. You look up, and you look at all the different flags around. The last one on the stadium on the end is the Jamaican flag.
Hey, Norman, I'm switching lanes on you. In high school, when we used to come to Penn Relays, that was the biggest event for us, even though they had the
Right.
East Coast
Yeah,
game.
Easterns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you go to Philadelphia back then, and that was a big time because after you ran, that the coach would take you to dinner with
And then,
people in Philly. Them gangs, they would like,
oh,
where
I
you
know.
back
I
then?
know, right?
Yeah, what block you? Hey, you better have some track shoes on.
Shoes on. That's right. Yeah, it's a little better now. It's gotten a
That's
little better.
Philly. We
But
love coming to Philly, but
Philly, yeah,
yeah.
that was the time, man. But yeah, but getting back to Friday's championships, uh, the college women's sprint medley, Clemson won. Texas A&M was second, and University of Penn finally got into the medal run. They finished third. Uh, in the college men's sprint medley, TCU won it. Penn State was second, and the Jamaican team, the name of the college is GC Foster. That's the college from Jamaica. They finished third in the sprint medley and stuff. And that was all the championships that was on Friday. Then Saturday is the big day, the 4x4 and all of that stuff. But on Saturday, they had the finals of the college women's 4x1. Like I said, Ohio State won that. TCU was second. Harvard was third. Um, the college men's 4x1, South Florida won that. Beat Houston again. Houston was second again.
All in
Uh,
like that.
I know he didn't. Okay, and then Rutgers got third. No, Rutgers got fourth. Rutgers got fourth. Jamaica, that school, GC Foster from Jamaica, they got third. So they medaled in that. Now, the high school boys 4x1. Jamaica was 1, 2, 3.
Man,
And out of the 9 teams in the final, there's 9 teams in the final, 7 of them was from Jamaica. And they finished 1, 2, 3. And check the times. The first team was at Excelsior. They ran 40.45.
they were running back when in the 69
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
So
40.45. Second place was Kingston College. They ran 40.53. And then this school, and this was a new one for me. I hadn't heard of them. Herbert Morrison is the name of the school from Jamaica. They ran 40.56. All three of them ran 40 points. They was all right there like a blanket finish, man. Then you had the college women 4x4. Houston finally won one. He didn't win any on the men's side, but the women won the 4x4. They ran 3:27. Texas A&M was second, and University of Penn snuck in again. They got the third. The college 4x4, Texas A&M beat Arizona State, and South Florida was third in that. But they got some sprinters down there at South Florida.
South Florida,
But,
I already can see that.
They got some, and the same four guys, the same four won the 4x1 and 4x2, and then 2 of them ran on the 4x4.
Tell me this: what has happened to North Carolina Central? Because
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. My girls' team, I coach at Rome. We're Division III, 9 scholarships. Friday, in the heats, I happened to end up in the same heat with North Carolina Central. My non-scholarship for girls beat Central in that heat. And I told the girls on my team, I said, that's the college I went to. I said, at one time, it was one of the top schools in the
It
country.
was.
The top HBCU, they set world records. We've
I
set Penn
remember
relay
Black
records.
coming down the
Hey,
Penn
Larry
relay
Black and them.
running
That's right.
19 something, and that's
That's
the
right.
first time them people were breaking the
Yeah,
20-point mark.
that's right. And I don't know what it is. It's so funny because the coach there now, his last name is Walker. He's not related to Doctor, but his name is Tavius Walker. But they got to do something with the program because when a Division III school with a bunch of non-scholarship athletes can beat anybody in Division I where kids are getting scholarships, that is
Something
not saying
wrong with
much.
that
It's not
picture.
saying much for your program. That's right. And I always tell people, if it's been over a period of time, then you got to look at the coaching. You got to look at the coaching. I mean, if you're recruiting kids and giving them money, scholarship money, the kid must have had some talent. But when they don't get any better, and this has been going on for a while at Central.
I
Now
could
this
see
is
because Central was there all the time.
times
No matter who
60s,
was at the top,
the 70s.
Villanova, you could
That's
bring
right.
all the big schools,
Schools
but
and
in
Central is gonna be
relays,
right
North
there.
Carolina Central was
That's
breaking them
right.
down.
So that's right. We're gonna be there, and so they have to take a look at it at the program. If I know at one point the president a few years ago she died, but she was ready to drop track and field, and we started a ad hoc committee and went and met with her and told her that if you drop track and field at Central, then you're gonna get a whole lot of negative feedback
And you're not
because the
giving Black
right,
athletes
right.
a chance
Plus,
to further
yeah,
their education.
that's right. I told her, I said, you look at all of the sports at Central. Central track and field is the only sport that went international at Central. Okay, you're not looking at a local team. You're not
They
looking
never
at a
had no.
national team. You're looking at an international group of athletes that you got. And I told her, you go to on that wall in the gymnasium which says Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame. I said you got 7 Olympians pictures and their accolades on that wall. I said, I said, this school, this track is the only sport that has produced athletes that competed on an international basis. So you're gonna get a hold of. So she ended up not dropping it, but they haven't changed coaches.
I don't know why they not investing in it because North Carolina Central, they're not known for no damn basketball. They're not
Basketball,
known for
no.
football. They're not.
That's right.
They are definitely known for track and
The
field.
track and field. That's right. Outside of the conference, uh, uh, on a national basis, it's track and field.
There's no
You
way
know,
that them East Coast athletes should be going anywhere but to some of these schools that are Division I
one.
in our
That's
community, especially the
that's
Black
right.
athletes.
Yeah, because I would have thought that after Central moved to the MEAC because they went to D1, that they would look to recruit better than they have. But like I said, they've gotten some athletes that have some talent. They just haven't, you know, uh, uh, push them forward, as far as progress. And I spoke with the athletic director before she retired. She retired 2 years ago. They have a new guy there that went to Central. He came from Howard, but he went to Central, played basketball at Central. Uh, and I told Skip, I said, you have to look at the coaching, okay? Uh, uh, and you're gonna have to, like, I don't think they have one kid that's on a full ride, you know. And so I said you got to look at putting some money into the program. You're gonna have to look at the coaching because you're failing these kids. These kids are coming here to get better, and they're not. And it's gonna make it difficult in the future to even get some kids to come down here if it keeps up like this.
Hey Norman, man, I think now that you mentioning that, I wonder what my life would have turned out to be if I hadn't ran track. And
Mm-hmm.
Because as in my interview with John, I told him, my people was in the drug game and the
Uh-huh.
number game. That what would I had done had I not gone to college?
I say the same thing, Carlos. Track got me to where I am today.
Yeah,
And,
and for North Carolina Central, if that's an issue, they really need to take a look at that, because the reason when we were talking about these Jamaican teams, from my perspective, more and more of them see that's their way out of
mm-hmm,
poverty. Uh,
mm-hmm,
just like how basketball exploded in our community back in the early 60s, Rucker Park, and
mm-hmm,
and then you realizing, hey man, if I play basketball, I might come up out these projects, or I
mm-hmm.
might, and man, I
I was
hate.
like, a guy asked me, he said, well, how is Jamaica producing all them good athletes? I said, number two things, two reasons. One, there's only two sports, major sports. That's cricket and track. Said three, company like Puma has invested into their track program. Bolt is a lifetime representative. Usain Bolt has a lifetime contract with Puma to promote track and field in the Caribbean islands.
And you know what? When you look at Puma and Adidas, they didn't have no basketball shoes. Everything was track.
Track. Everything was track.
Yeah, it was no basketball or no tennis. They weren't making those type shoes.
That's right.
I never wore Puma. I always was Adidas
Mm-hmm. Do you
guy.
remember
I
in high
still
school?
don't wear Nike or none of that stuff.
Right. Do you remember in high school there was a little store like up on the fourth or fifth floor in this building in Lower Manhattan. It was a Franklin shoe store. That's where they sold the Adidas. You went up there and it looked like a garbage dump. There were shoes everywhere. And it looked like a closet. And the man, I never get that, go in there and buy my first pair of Adidas, man. And so, but that's what it was. It was two shoes.
And see,
Adidas.
The people don't know the history of these sports and how all this money has come in the sports and who has made the money. When y'all, I don't know whether you ever wore Puma, but when John wore Puma, that brand was just coming out, like how Nike took over everything.
Yeah, I wore Puma. Wore Puma.
Because they didn't have the athletes. But when y'all start wearing Puma, y'all bought millions and millions.
That's right.
Really put them on the map. Then they came out with these basketball and some other shoes.
They started making basketball, football, soccer.
And they had really good. Puma came out, like we talked about the wooden tracks. They came out with them little tiny spikes. And all of that. They had some really good shoes.
They did. Puma was a good shoe.
But I don't see a whole lot of people wearing them now.
I tell you what, though, all the Jamaicans are wearing them. Hey, all their uniforms are Puma.
Right,
you look on the Jamaican uniform, they got that cat picture on their shirts and stuff, man. His shoes are Puma, because Puma was smart. When Bolt was running, they signed him to that big lucrative contract. But then when he retired, they signed him to a contract making him a lifetime representative of the company. So all Usain does, all he does is go around to the various Caribbean islands and promote Puma. And now Puma got the majority of the athletes that run out of the Caribbean signed to contracts, man.
Who was your school signed to? Who do y'all use?
We use Under Armour.
Under Armour?
Yeah, our school uses Under Armour. At one time, they was using Nike, and they got away from Nike. But now they're under contract
Competition
with
is
Under Armour.
fierce for
It's fierce,
these
man.
colleges to,
I
to,
know.
to, to sign with one of these shoe companies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Uh,
uh,
but
on
uh,
rounding this up, because I'm gonna split this interview up into about three different parts because we talked about so many
okay.
different subjects as it relates to track and field and the progression that in both of our lifetimes we've seen go from not being able to buy a Hershey bar for a nickel to but that's what they were when we was
That's
coming
right.
up.
That's right.
A
Now
nickel.
that now they almost what $2
Yeah,
and
hey,
stuff.
spend a dime for a Pepsi Cola and then
Look,
take the bottle back and get two.
back and get a nickel. They get
Yeah,
2 cents or
that's
a nickel. That's right.
you got the nickel on the quart size.
Besides, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
right.
know, uh, and things have changed so much from a financial standpoint.
Important.
But from my
Yeah.
standpoint, I feel the majority community, it really hasn't changed for them
Change.
because
No.
they were making
Mm-mm.
money on us.
Us.
I've looked at some stuff on Jesse Owens and different things, how they parade us around Europe. You say $2 per diem,
The
and
damn, yeah.
they're getting paid bringing us to these different places, and we're not getting anything.
Anything. That's right.
And
And and and that's why, I've talked to guys like Noah Lyles. Noah's father is from New Jersey. He went to Franklin High School in Central Jersey. And so I've been knowing Noah and his brother since they were little. Keisha, his mom went to Seton Hall, and their dad went to Seton Hall. That's where they met. My son was in Seton Hall with them. He ran for John Moon, and so they all friends. So I've been knowing them since they were young. But one thing, every time I get a chance to speak to knowing them, I said, "Listen here, you making some money right now. If you're making that kind of money, imagine what the people that's
it's
giving you the
pain.
money are making. Okay, don't don't go out here off the deep end because this is not gonna last forever. Okay, you're not gonna be running that 100 or that 219 point forever. Put that money to use wisely. Okay, because the one thing the USATF has not ever done yet, USA Track and Field, they won't. Every time the talk of it comes up, they find a way to talk around it. Union. These kids they don't have nothing. They don't have no medical program through USA Track and Field. They don't have no union. So it's whatever you can get from the shoe companies and from winning races, the prize money and stuff. Beyond that, the thing that bothers me is that a lot of these kids haven't gone to college. Noah and his brother didn't go to college. They 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 turned pro right out of high school. Now these kids, I know this young lady from Florida that turned pro right out of high school. Didn't make it on the next level. And the only money she had really was that first contract that she got because she was good in high school. You know, now she's just a average
Another
trying to
person,
be runner that don't have a college education. And those are the things these kids don't look at right now because they think they're making big dollars. And if you're not like in that range where Bolt was getting paid 100 grand appearance money and all that kind of stuff, Bolt's a millionaire, okay, more than once. These guys aren't millionaires, and I'm telling you, I told Noah,
they've
listen,
been looking at too much TV. That's all
when
that is.
when if you blow that money the wrong way, and you looking at not even being as good as the person that got a college degree, okay, because you don't have one, and it's gonna come a time that when you can't run fast anymore, what are you gonna do then? You know, and these kids don't look at it. They don't look at the big picture. Uh, uh, they living high off the hog,
Because
get
they're not looking
buying
at
big cars and
longevity,
stuff. Yeah,
Norman. They're
and
not looking at
yeah, they think
longevity.
they
They
think
looking at uh,
yeah,
the mentality now,
mentality.
not just in track and field, in life.
Yeah,
Uh, I want to sit down. I want to eat right now. I don't want to
Yeah,
shop for the.
yeah,
I don't want to train like I really
yeah.
need to. I don't want to do a lot of different things.
They
But just put me on the starting line. And,
line, yeah,
uh,
yeah. And
so
and and their attitude, a lot of them's attitude is that they act like they invented this sport. I told them this sport been here since the 1800s, man. The Olympics started in 1896. You didn't invent this. You just part of the wheel to keep turning, brother, and stuff, you know. But they walk
they
around
don't
like, hey,
understand they on a conveyor belt, and you might be the
that's
flavor
right.
of the day right
That's right.
now. But
Hey,
just
that's
like
right.
you took somebody else was the flavor before you came, and
You
there's
did.
gonna
That's
be
right.
somebody that's gonna be the flavor
The
after
big
you leave.
after you leave. That's right. And and it's just like I tell you, prime example. Carrie Richardson. She making a killing, man. She, with all this money Nike paying her stuff. She done lost 3 straight races this year already.
Has she?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
lost
I have
other.
a problem.
She lost again. She lost again this past weekend in the 200 to that girl from Great Britain, Nito. She lost the week before. She lost to a young girl, 19
Bad.
years old, in the 100. Because she been running around doing that banquets, and living big time and stuff. She got 5 weeks before the Olympic trials, 6 weeks before the Olympic trials. She better get it together, otherwise, because I'm tell you, Nike's the kind of company. Their motto is "What have you done for me lately?"
And that means yesterday here in the USA.
That's right. That's right.
That don't
So she
mean last year.
yeah, that's
That
right.
means what did you
That,
win
hey,
last night?
that's right. That's what happened with what's her name, Allison Fielding. She got pregnant. Nike dropped her.
But see, this
But
is how
see,
I look at all them companies. You
mm,
are only valuable to them if you have something to offer. There's
awful.
no
That's right.
welfare out here for you.
And
Everybody's got a good personality.
person. That's right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, and Shakari's gonna find that out real fast. She she put herself in a position to make money, but now she's putting herself in a position to lose it all. You know,
I
and
wonder who her mentors are, or does
well,
she have good
Dennis.
advisors?
Well, I'm surprised because of 2 people. One, Dennis Mitchell is a coach, and what's his name?
Do you know him at all?
Yeah, I know Dennis. He's from South Jersey here. I know I've been knowing Dennis since he was in high school. But Dennis is her coach, and 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 he had gotten busted when he was running for performance enhancing drugs and stuff. Uh, I hope that everything is cool with him now, as far as that. But what's his name? The hurdler. They went to Maryland. The good hurdler.
Uh, Nehemiah.
Nehemiah is her agent.
All right. Well, Dak, my brain is still working. At least I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, that's right. Nehemiah is her agent. So she got a couple of good, but I don't know if she listens to them.
Oh yeah,
The
because
girl,
Nehemiah should know the ropes for
yeah, yeah,
sure.
oh, that's right, from top to bottom and bottom to top, man. Because he was in it. You know, Dennis was in it, and so they know what it takes, and know what you have to do to stay at that level for a while. But I don't know if she listens.
You can't be
Sometimes,
doing all that flashy stuff really to me
yeah,
until you retire.
yeah,
Like, oh,
you know,
you run, you get that money, and you get that money, and when you see that you fading out, that's when you can go live your life because you done
that's right.
got the bag.
That's right. But she and the thing about it, what a lot of them don't understand, every time you step on the track, after you make it, every time you step on the track, you're a target. Okay, you got a target on your back, because everybody that is on that line with you, they want to be where you are, and that's what they have to understand, is that nobody's gonna let you win. Okay, they out there to kick your butt. All right, and so you can be slack off if you want to. That next person gonna say, "This is my time now." Okay, and I don't think she looks at. I think she's right now at this point. She thinks she's the best out there, the best But if she don't train properly and stuff, she gonna find out very soon. Well, she already found out 3 times this year that she just can't step on the
Can't
track
afford.
because her name is Sha'Carri
Hold
Richardson.
it.
She
Well,
can't
if you
step
done
out
got
there
beat twice,
and
now
3 times.
hold it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Hold it. I'm
yeah,
saying if you done got beat twice, now whoever was in second and third place in
the,
line over the last couple of years behind you, now
yes,
they're saying this is my time.
time. That's right. You know,
She's
and,
weak
and,
now.
and yeah, but because see, she has that attitude that, well, I'm the best out here. If I step on the track, everybody gonna lay down. That don't work that way, sister. It
That's what
don't work
Carlos
that way.
told me the other night. He was like, "Yeah, I used to come. I would like, which one of y'all got second?" But it
Second, that's right.
hold
I
it.
used to do that. I used to do that at the garden in the jumps. I go over there and say, y'all better go over there and see what they're giving out for second.
Hey, but do you see if you look at any of that footage in '68 Olympics, Carlos was shocked when
Mm-hmm.
Smith blew by him.
Buy him on the ends, that's right.
Yeah, he almost lost third because
Third, yeah.
he was shocked. He wasn't
Shock,
used
yeah,
to.
yeah, used to that. So, yeah, he almost, like when Tommy blew past, he almost stopped running.
Right,
And and
right.
and
Oh,
and,
so
and,
you
and,
seen it
and
too.
cause Peter,
Right.
yeah, Peter Norman went past him, and then Ed Roberts was coming up on the outside and shit, man. Carlos had to pick up a gear to get third.
Right. Hold it. And that to me, that's the perfect picture of what happens to you when you at the top of the game
Top
and you
game,
think that you cannot. Muhammad Ali, all of them,
all
anybody,
of them.
you do
That's
not
right.
stay on top of your practices and what have you,
And
that dedication, people will
you're gonna
test you
get
every
bumped.
time.
That's right. Yeah. And I tell these young kids, man, I say, you know, we got the top team in our conference. We got one of the best teams in D3. And I tell the guys, everybody know who y'all are, man. Every time y'all step on the track, they trying to beat you. Okay. Every time. Not just one time. Every time you step on the track, these guys looking, yeah, we beat Rowan, man. We in it. You know, I said, so you can't be slack, man. You can't walk out on the track thinking it's automatic that you're gonna cross the finish line first. You know, because there's you become a winner, you got a target on your back.
Norman, we're gonna close out. I want you to say something to the young, not just track and field athletes, to Black athletes in
Mm-hmm.
particular in the United States. Do you have
The
any advice for them?
right, yeah. The one thing I want to tell all any athlete, okay, in particular Black athletes, because a lot of times Black athletes are listening to some of them people up top saying, "Oh, you the greatest," you know, and so because they think that way, they don't put the work effort in that they should. And so, because and in my, oh, he said I'm the greatest. I just go out here and just roll over people. I tell all these kids now, I said, listen, I got this quote and I print it out every year and I give it to the kids on my team that come out. And I tell them, I said, listen, tack this up in your room in the dorm somewhere. And every so often, just read what it says. Okay. And it's don't be upset by the results you didn't get because of the work you didn't do. I tell them that all the time. Don't get upset by the results you didn't get because of the work you didn't do. Okay? Because if you don't do the work, the results gonna be negative. And so you got to Doc Walker used to always say, he said, no, the best athlete out there is the best prepared one. Okay. You know, but I tell all these kids that now, don't get mad because you got your butt beat. Think about what you didn't do to get ready for that race and stuff. And that applies to in anything that you involved in doing, you know, it, your studies, everything. If you don't put the
That's why
work
it's so
in,
important to have a mentor, I believe, because
mm-hmm,
I don't believe that I would know a lot about athletics. without a guy like Mr. Dickerson and
Mm-hmm.
Yancey
Nancy and
and Mr.
Levy.
Ford, yeah, and Mr. Lee, because they was like, I don't care if it's 10 inches of snow.
No, that's
You
right.
need to be training. You
That's
need to
right. Yeah.
find indoor or something.
Somewhere. That's right.
And that's where I said Carlos and people like you was our heroes, because those athletes on the West Coast, they didn't have the weather conditions that we had, and
We had to deal with
they could train on a 440 size track year round,
around. Mm-hmm.
where we couldn't do that. We couldn't have the straightaways. You running that garden, if you didn't get out in that first leg, you was, unless you came
That's
from
right.
school, because
Hey,
they
some
run
of
you
them guys.
high up on
Hey,
those on the curb, you can't pass. You really have to train
that's
to.
right. Hey, those guys in California wouldn't even know what the inside of an armory looked
Oh
like.
no! If they came when they came to run in the garden,
At the
they
garden,
really
I
didn't even
know.
want to come this way.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
So,
It's
as we always say in closing, and I'm stealing this from one of my partners, it was a
okay.
fun, pleasing pleasure having you on the show. I'd be like, Watts, cut out all them niceties. You know we snidely whiplash and we put Sweet Nell, we tie her to the train tracks and wait for Dudley Do Right to come and yeah. But
I love it.
it was a pleasure having you on the show, Norman. Hopefully, like I
Anytime,
said,
buddy.
I want to break this up into a couple of
Parts.
pieces, because
Mm-hmm.
this is the longest interview I've ever done since I've been in business.
Wow.
Yeah, but we consider ourselves an archive, uh,
Mm-hmm.
not just in this, in what we do for Black people and in our voice. We don't edit anything. And
Mm-hmm.
people, you've done a lot of interviews, but I know that this is a treasure for me to go back 40, 50 years and know what it's really uh, has happened out of your mouth. And I want to bring you back on to talk about uh, you coaching in the Pan American Games.
Okay.
And I want to do that next week. And I'm going to send you, see, USA. I just had
Okay.
some really nice apparel with USA on it and some other things. I
Mm-hmm.
just need to get your size.
Okay. Wear large.
All right, we're gonna get something
Okay.
to you.
Okay.
Not like Puma and Adidas, but, but we're gonna
hey, hey,
get you
hey, look here.
something.
Hey, they not giving me any money. I'll wear your apparel.
Yeah,
They're not paying me.
we're gonna, we're gonna get you a couple of pieces uh for the Olympics. Do you have any plans for the upcoming
I'm,
games?
well, I'm fortunate. I have a kid on my team. He's from Guinea in Africa. He's been chosen to run for his country, and he's in the 400 in the Paris Games. So as of right now, I'm going to be going over there as his coach. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh man, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm
He runs
jealous,
for
baby.
Guinea. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
But
saying,
but
see, you
hey,
done need to travel. And also to you young athletes, when you get to a certain level, you might not never left your block, but you get to a certain level, you get a chance to see the world.
world.
Even if
That's
you
right.
don't make no money,
Money. Mm-hmm.
you'll get a chance to see different things that will change the trajectory of your
Trajectory
life.
of your life.
Possibly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember that first trip when I went to Greece, Turkey, and Iran. I had never been out of the country, man. You know, and only had been on an airplane twice. And
Telling
here
you,
all
I
of a
ain't
sudden,
left the block.
and that's right. When I got the notice from the AAU that I had been picked for the team, I'm running up and down my street, man. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Europe. You know, I didn't even think about $2 a day. I Carlos, I still have pictures of me sitting in front of the Parthenon and stuff. I got a picture of me sitting in front of the Parthenon like I was a Greek god or
Yeah,
something, man. You know,
hey,
you know that's like something you treasure forever. You know,
hey, Norm, you send that picture back to 125th Street, Negro.
I know, right? I know, right? I
Baby.
was like, shit, you know, it's like, hey, go on, man. He said, well, somebody asked me, he said, that looks like one of them Greek. I said, it is. I said, that's the real deal behind me. I'm standing in front of it. I was like this. I had my arms crossed up there. I'm standing there, man, like I was a Greek god and stuff, man. You know, but those are the kind of thrills. We didn't get any money, but we got to see the world and stuff. And I've been to every country that you can name. Okay. And it didn't cost me one dime. You know, I might have been broke when I was there, but I had a good time.
But it was a different holiday. It was a different era, and we're going to talk about that on the next show. Because one thing we started talking about, but we stopped, was the camaraderie that took place with the athletes back then versus where we're
now,
at
yeah.
now.
Now, yeah. Okay. My time is your time, anytime.
It was a pleasure, Norm. We'll be getting back with you.
Okay.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.